or on our app located in the Apple App Store, located in the Google Play Store. You are tuned into Keeping It Real Politically. This is your host, Antonio Hicks, a.k.a. Escaping the Matrix, where we talk about all things news today. I welcome back in the studio Mr. Jersey. What am I going to call him by his first name? We're going to stick with Jersey this time around.
It's a handle, man. That makes it easy. Man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Johns out there, so there's only one Jersey. Right?
Everybody knows. Well, you got Jersey Mike, so you're not a Jersey Mike.
No. I make a better sandwich.
So, I mean, it's kind of free-flowing this week, because nothing really is specific that we want to talk about, unless you got something that you want to get off your mind. Because you weren't here last week, so what's going on? Because you're dealing with
we got election season going on.
Yeah.
So just helping out some folks out with that. You have the early voting going on. That's the kind of thing I've been kind of.
Have you voted already?
Oh yeah.
I haven't voted.
I went and did it. It's one of those things, like, you have time. I would not. For those in Georgia, especially, I would just recommend voting early.
Yes.
Don't wait till the last day, because on election day, I'm assuming the lines are going to be kind of wrecked.
Right.
So you spend the day there, and you might get questions if you even bring a sandwich.
Yeah. I'm going tomorrow. I had to get my registration straightened out.
Oh yeah.
And then I call. Well, I'm going through the website. This is how I know they set people up. So I'm going through the website because I moved. Only thing I moved from a mile away from my old house, but I moved from one county to a different county. So only thing I had to do was just change the address, right?
Sure.
So I go on the website, and I did it like 3 months ago, and then I went back, followed up again. They said we're not located in your voter registration. So I filled out the form again. Mm-hmm. Another month go by, we can't find your voter registration. I did it again 2 weeks ago. We can't find your voter registration. So I finally called the registrar's office. Oh yeah, we got you living at such and such. I said, yeah. And she said, your voting location is around. She said, you want to know where this is? I said, well, I know where it said, but yeah, you can give it to me again.
Yeah.
It's around the corner from my house.
Let's verify this.
So I was like, so why is it not showing up online, but you got it in the database? So I was like, this is government in their IT stuff. So this is just stupid. Because you got some people that won't call the office.
Is it my order page the one you're using, I presume?
Yes.
Okay, that's the big one that's the main one to use. That's actually the most reliable place for information, by the way.
Right.
And it's still like, this is what you're getting.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's kind of goofy. There's a lot of last minute changes in it. The last law, they still don't know what, there's all kinds of procedures and hidden roadblocks for voter and worker alike that are all trying to figure out what to do here.
Right.
So I can only imagine what's going on. This is someone who actually knows what you actually know what you're doing.
Yeah, I do know.
You have resources. You're a tech guy.
Yeah.
So you're you have a path and a way to analyze the problem, diagnose it, and fix it. This is just two guys in a room, and I can only imagine how many other people are dealing with that. And
right.
Don't have those resources that you have.
And they get frustrated and decide, whatever, I'm just not voting, and it's not my fault because I'm tired of filling this form out, and it's not approving me, so I'm not calling anybody.
Oh yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too much in the weeds on that one, but that's the thing right now. Is there's a lot of roadblocks on what's going on here. It's HB 202, which was actually the big law that was passed. I know a couple people that right now, I can name 2 people that we'll do it on air, that will not vote or can't vote. They are because they don't have access. They're not in. They have to do absentee, and they don't have access to a printer or a photocopier, so they can't vote. Because the new law is absentee ballots, you have to have a photocopier license and all these other things.
Yeah.
They can't vote. They
you got to print it out and mail it in?
Yeah. So you have to have a photocopy of your license and your government issue ID in order to it's enclosed in with absentee ballot. There's a list of things on absentee ballot, all these roadblocks. Which is a poll tax, which is illegal, but it's legal in Georgia. And so I can name 2 people that literally I want to vote, but I can't because I don't have access to a photocopier. Because where's your photocopier? I'm a man means I can't answer the question today.
Office Max?
I guess so, but we're there's not Office Maxes everywhere. We live in Atlanta. They're in Florida, kind of a remote area.
Okay.
And again, even that that's of course.
Why do you have to go through the hassle of just
Office
doing
Max,
that?
Home Depot, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We can, Home Depot. If just go to CVS, they'll probably do it for you.
Yeah.
But that being said, it seems like low hanging fruit for the general public. A lot of folks that are voting absentee, that may not come to the forefront of their mind to solve that problem.
Right.
But it's still an unnecessary problem for these people to have.
Right.
And so now there are votes that can't. So, oh, and also, on a side note, I don't know if you knew this, in Georgia, military personnel have there are different rules for their absentee ballots. Specifically, is their rank preference.
What does that mean?
That means you don't just like you vote for Warnock or Herschel, whatever. Well, they do. They rank everyone. So my first one is this guy, then the second guy, and third guy. I just found this out like today or the day before.
Who the hell came up? Where does that come from?
It's not. This is not original, but it's different rules for them. So the idea is, so the military personnel, their ballots are being counted differently than everyone else's. Now, like again, you're giving me a weird look, and I wish.
Yeah, because I'm like, is rank preference so?
So you're voting for everybody.
Yeah.
But you rank who you like the best. And I don't. I've heard of this before, and I'm usually better about this, and I just happened to find this out like earlier today, really. And so I can't explain the intricacies of it, but they have different. They specifically military personnel have specifically different ballots than other Georgians, which is again absurd.
So is it safe to say that the election was stolen last time?
There's just some absurdity when it comes to like impropriety when voting. I looked hard finding like any kind of impropriety with Democrats with voting anywhere. I couldn't find any. I really couldn't. I just could not. I did find a bunch on the other side. And not only that, now we're finding like these laws that are put into place to artificial barriers to vote and actual excuses to literally throw ballots out. The current law too, the new one, is they're finding ways to throw out ballots. I just happened to read up on an old Georgia governor named Eugene Talmadge. He was governor for 4 terms, but in 2 different places. So like he had 2 terms, break, 2 terms. And his son was a governor for Georgia. He ran on the KKK platform, where when it comes to voting, that's a horrible man, horrible family. And his grandson is currently involved in Georgia politics, and and he's a lobbyist. So I don't care. I dropped the name, but Eugene Talmadge, he literally created a system when blacks were afforded the right to vote. He took away. He said instead of voting for the general public for governor and for all these offices, we're going to leave it up to the General Assembly. And that's how he won, I think, his 4th term. Where, like, literally, like, all right, everyone voted, didn't matter. Like, you and I voted?
Yeah.
All right, let's just raise hands in General Assembly. We have a bunch of Republicans that love KKK, right? Okay, who do you guys want to be governor? All right, me? Cool. All right, high five. And that is almost what's happening. We're one step away from what this new bill has, where they are going to they're allow the General Assembly to identify, call it problem counties.
Yeah.
And literally just throw out problem county votes.
And elect somebody to nominate who they want.
Yeah. And that is
I do know. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just what they're doing. So and then there's in politics where this show is really we're in a show called Keeping It Real Politically, and there's a lot of things we can debate. Like healthcare policy or taxes or anything, but this is indefensible. Just this.
I can't even debate healthcare costs. Taxes? No, I can't even debate taxes. Those things that you name high level.
There's a lot of abstraction. That's
yeah.
Even healthcare, what I'm saying is like, all right, what to do? Like, there's certain like easy ones, but like then there's certain there's some give and take. There's some talk about what the solution is.
Right.
More broad aspect, like what's good for the economy. That's.
Since we're talking about politics, though, how do you feel about them labeling Killer Mike as worse than Kanye West? If you've heard about that, do you know who Killer Mike is?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the
he's the one that I think is he the one that got in trouble smoking weed with Bill Maher on a show a couple years ago?
I believe so. And it's like they said because Killer Mike gave some credit to Kemp for how he's running his campaign, and the same thing with Herschel Walker. And it was like, well, he's switching. Like this is my community. He's switching sides. He's a traitor. And I'm like, I call BS if I could curse on the show. I call BS on that because like you have to give. I do give credit, especially to the Republican Party, on how they run a campaign. They run a very fluent, efficient campaign. I mean, very much so. It's a well-oiled machine. And I'm like, so I can give credit to these people on how because they did something that we don't do. I mean, that's how 45 won.
It's absolutely. What was the girl's Kellyanne Conway?
Yeah.
I remember I was in college at the time, and I was talking to I'm still kind of, I was very centrist. I didn't really identify. I was kind of in between.
Uh-huh.
I had my own thoughts and opinions. Kind of my phase where all my Republican friends thought I was a Democrat, all my Democrat friends thought I was a Republican. But I remember talking to someone and she was very, very, very liberal. Nothing wrong with that. But I said kind of similar. I didn't hear what Kelly Mike said, but it just reminded me of this, where I said Kellyanne Conway was very good at her job. She's very skilled.
He just gave him credit. Yeah.
She's absolutely like, what? Like, how dare you? No. Like, she's good at her job. What she's saying is complete. We have to figure out a way to curse on the show.
Yeah, because it's not.
But being skilled, you have to recognize that. I know what they're doing.
I give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
And if you're running a campaign that works for you and your party, and we run terrible campaigns, because first of all, we don't even go. What do we say? We're not going to places for the unconventional voters because they don't necessarily vote anyway. So we're not going to waste our time on them. But whereas the other side, it was like, forget that. We want all that low hanging fruit. We're gonna go over there and pluck them off, and then we're gonna go for the high hanging fruit too. And they do it, and they win. I mean, it's working now with whole Killer Mike. Just because he gave them a compliment, his own people, the black community, it was like, no, we throwing him to the wolves because you can't compliment a Republican. And I'm like, but yes, you can. I can respect game and I can respect battle tactics. I don't care who you are. I like Napoleon's battle tactics.
No,
they were beautiful. I have his book at home. I have his big freaking Bible book at home. I love his battle tactics. I love his strategy and how he won a war. He could have been a terrible person. A terrible person.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah, but I appreciate the strategy. Yeah.
No, I agree. And there's many things at play, right? Where we're talking about, we've touched on Republicans, how good they are at politics. They are very good.
They're very good.
They're better than Democrats.
Yeah.
But yet, Killer Mike, being ostracized for giving a compliment, acknowledging that they're good at this.
Yeah.
But also, why is Democrats so bad? Or,
we're too touchy-feely.
I don't necessarily disagree. I've always said, the thing is, the difference is, when you look at Republicans, they are all on the same page.
Yeah.
You ask, and I've said it before, you ask a Republican, I'm not even saying an officer, just a Republican on the street, a question. In Maine, North Dakota, California, Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Florida, Texas, doesn't matter. You ask them a question, not only do we get the same answer, you get the same 10 words.
Yeah.
All of them, all the way down to the bottom. All right, that makes it easy. It's very short.
We're not voting for those liberals. We're not voting for those baby killers.
Take my guns away.
Yeah, you're taking my guns away. You're raising taxes. We're not protecting the border. Which, I mean, the border is getting out of control. But it's terrible. I saw a report yesterday.
Yeah.
It's 266,000 deaths. Oh, it's terrible.
That's
no, not deaths. Those are people that came in. Was it deaths?
I don't know that. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, no. Since the Biden administration came in, they've had that came through the border. 266,000 people that's hit the border, and then it was thousands of deaths. It really was a ton of. It was more deaths than it had when. Anyway, but 45 came. But anyway, yes, those are the talking points.
Yeah. But their talking points are fortune cookies.
Yeah.
You can almost monosyllabic. That's a good word. They're 10 words. They're very simple. Take them away from a cold dead hands. Killing babies. Whereas Democrats get 5 guys. You get 5 Democrats. We have 2 in a room right now, and we disagree on stuff.
We do.
And we will talk any one of these issues to death.
Yeah.
Already we spent more time on like I said, take my guns away. That's all. That we're done talking with Republican. Whereas hold on now. There were school shootings every day. There's one in St. Louis today. All right, can we just acknowledge this is a problem and figure out if we can find a solution? No.
Yeah, because me
number 2, amendment number 2, baby.
It's like me and progressives. Progressives wouldn't like me because I believe in guns, and I think everybody should own a gun. I think everybody should own a gun, not just one gun, 2 guns.
I disagree. I that's one where I think everyone should know how to use a gun.
I think that too.
I don't think necessarily everyone should have it. I'm fine with learning how to use it, but if it's you and I both can just look in our memory banks and look at just 12 people, and the first 12 people you think of, 3 of those people should never touch a gun.
Okay, so
you were talking about someone just a few minutes ago that can't handle an iPad.
Yes.
All right, now imagine putting a gun in their hand.
They don't shoot the gun in our
All
head.
right, that's what I'm saying.
But yes, to caveat, yes, I will agree. There are certain people who should not have access to guns.
Right.
Mental health people, abusers, and people on drugs, whatever.
Sure.
But I think those sane people, should have a weapon. And well, first and foremost, absolutely, they should know how to use one.
Yeah.
I think everybody should know how. I think at the age of 10, no, I might go younger than that. The age of 9 or 10, I think kids should be shown how to use a weapon. And it's not just to show them how to shoot, it's how to properly handle it to make sure they don't harm themselves or anybody else.
Yeah.
So if they are in the presence of a gun, they won't just pick it up thinking, oh, it's a toy. They know it's a weapon that can kill them and kill a family member.
All those things I'm aware of. Like I always compared knowing how to use a gun is like knowing how to drive a stick.
Yep.
You should just know how to do. You may never encounter a gun. You may never encounter a car or stick, but when you do, you know how to do. You know.
And I haven't driven a stick in God knows how long,
Yeah.
but I know how you. I know how to drive
I
one.
might be dating myself on that one, but like I think it's Switzerland where it has the comparison, like the European country, like the white one, that is as like super gun culture as is the only one that's comparable in the United States, but they're also super educated.
Yeah.
They are like, hey, this is what you do, how to do it. They have a responsible gun culture. Everything's registered. Everyone knows what to do, or like there's a like muzzle safety. There is like a step-by-step procedure where everyone is on the same page about respecting like this power you have in your hands. We don't have that here. I would be fine with that. What you were saying, but if we had that first, I think we have to have that first. Something basic, just like, all right, like I said, go to gun school, get a gun, whatever. That's what I
wouldn't mind, like, when you get the license that you have to go through a training class.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take it. I mean, I've been trained, but still, I wouldn't mind, like, actually having to retake it to get a license. I would do it. And even for renewal, you have to come back for another class to keep that license.
I'm actually fine with that, too. Like I'm not actually anti-gun, and I'm not that one of those simpletons of things. Like, I believe in a world without guns. Like, all right, that's way beyond that. That's not happening. Like, I'm not unreasonable. And
you are not taking no guns from no Americans.
No.
They're cold dead end.
and I have a hard time not laughing at those people. I'll say, I just believe in a world without guns. Like, all right, well, that's just not. We're way beyond that. It's just not possible.
Right.
I don't think it's unreasonable to be like, hey, listen, get a gun, be licensed in it.
Yeah.
You got to take a class. It doesn't take long, like as long of a class as it takes before you do a tandem, skydive. An hour-long thing of like, oh, here's where the bullets go. Here's like muzzle safety. Here's like the safety, like just this stuff. This stuff is important. And
because you will see, and we're going to talk about other stuff too. But this ties into the school shooting we were talking about anyway. Even though the kid that did this was out of his mind. But if you look at videos online where people are going to like gun safety training, and while they're in the range, they do stupid stuff and end up killing somebody or killing themselves. Like, what's his name? Is it Chris Henrich? Whoever the guy was, the American sniper.
Oh yeah. Christopher. It's Chris.
Yeah, it's Chris. I can't think of his last name.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting killed in the range by somebody that was.
He was helping.
Yeah, he was helping out. Now this guy made how many tours? He did in Iraq. He did like a good 4 or 5 tours in Iraq.
Yeah.
Sniper.
Yep.
And come back over here, had a training school going on for a minute, I think in Texas.
And he punched Jesse Ventura in the face.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Which is, I don't know. I have a love-hate with Jesse Ventura. But it's still pretty cool. It's the thing, it goes to the principle of you're saying, like, I'm going to report that statement where everyone should have a gun. Like, I respect the Constitution. I respect the Second Amendment. But it's also like we should talk about instead of like we should distribute guns to everybody. If you want one, I'm fine with you getting one. But I just think that there should be just some education in place.
Yeah.
I just don't, I don't think we should be hanging them out to teachers in schools. I think if you look at studies too, if you concentrate gun like violence and approach it to like how easy the guns are to obtain, there is a correlation there. There is.
Yeah.
So those are the things like we have to talk about. Like,
it's the go-to thing because you look at other countries, they don't have that. They don't have those issues.
Right.
And not to say guns don't exist. Guns absolutely do exist.
Yeah.
But let's use China.
okay, well,
We'll use China.
it's okay. They're going through a weird thing right now.
Yeah, but they have strict gun laws.
Yeah.
So what do people use? They use knives.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, and I get that's what the gun people argue. Oh, if it's not gonna be one thing, it'll be another.
I gotta roll my eyes on that one. I just got it.
But I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, you can't take out 12 or 15 people with it. I mean, unless you just the most baddest of baddest ninjas or whatever, or samurai, you can't, or you live in the anime universe.
Guess what? That's profiling.
I'm just saying, if unless you're that person with some kind of superpowers, you can't kill that many people at one time with a knife.
No other country has school shootings.
No, but they do.
They do, but
not as bad.
Not daily.
No, not daily. No, because Germany just had one last month.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had how many since then? I mean,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, look, we just talked about St. Louis today. That's today, but like I don't know how many. I honestly like put my over under on school shootings in this country so far this year. My over under were.
This one today.
I'm going with 50 at minimum.
A year?
So far this year.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I would-
I would think more.
That's what I'm saying. I put my over.
Is-
I'm guessing, and I'm lowball on it, and that's
Yeah.
absurd.
Yeah, because we had
That's
one
absurd.
last week. It wasn't like this case. It was actually like a gang shooting, but a school shooting is a school shooting.
Yeah.
Because they had one that took place where this guy was targeting a couple of dudes, but he was just spraying randomly in the area where the dude was at and ended up hitting other people. And this happened early this year.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's one of many. Like the St. Louis thing. Like, hey, there was a school shooting. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And there's going to be more.
We've got desensitized to it, yeah.
Yeah, like all right, it's not new.
Because I remember,
Hey, yeah.
Columbine was the first one.
Yeah.
And everybody was just, we were stuck to the TV.
Yeah.
And then we had, what was after Columbine?
Oh shoot.
The movie theaters. The guy shot at the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And then after him, because it was a kid, it was something else. Yeah, and then after that, it started happening.
Hundreds.
Yeah. Which is weird because even when you think about that, we've always had access to guns. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what sparked the whole school shooting thing? Like, I would love to see somebody do an analysis on that.
I think that's a good question. I think the fact that it happens more often, I think there's mental health involved.
Yeah.
I do believe is that there is, looking at studies, again, causation, correlation, I hate to say, I don't want to be that guy that says, well, gun laws does this, therefore this happens. There is a parallel, at the very least.
Yeah, it is.
The ease of gun, because gun laws have gotten easier and easier ever since Columbine.
Uh-huh.
They have.
Yeah.
And we've got more school shootings. Okay, I'm not sure if there's one has anything to do with the other. I think we can dip your toe and say there is something there.
Yeah, to me, it's gotta be something. I mean, I grew up around. Well, it wasn't. I don't easily access to guns, but I was around weapons. And then when I got older, I got trained at the age of 18. Mm-hmm. My boxing trainer, he took us out to the woods and showed us how to shoot. But you think about that, weapons have always been available, but we didn't have school shootings. So I'm like,
I'm curious. That available? I'm sorry.
Oh no, yeah, they were. they were because we've always had gun shows where you can easily just walk in and purchase a gun. Because I think gun laws have gotten a little bit more. They have gotten more strict as we got older. So they added more things to the actual background check and stuff that was on there. But no, they were available.
Well, they were available.
Matter of fact, we had access to stronger weapons back in the day than what we do right now.
Is there maybe there was the thing with the internet?
Uh-huh.
And I mean two ways. One is the mental health aspect of like, oh, I'm not right. I'm not right.
Uh-huh.
School shootings is a thing. I'm gonna go shoot some kids. Or the other way around, where the internet's available, and now I know where to get the guns.
It's a possibility,
right?
Yeah, but it's something there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be.
I know you're saying that that guns were always available, and I grew up in Jersey, which is not as gun centric as in the South.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe I happened to not be in a community that was very gun centric. I couldn't tell you if I ever saw a gun that wasn't on an officer's hip.
I saw it
until I moved to Georgia. I'm not exactly sure. I might have. I doubt it. And then I saw them everywhere.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I'm pretty much always been the one guy in the room that just doesn't have any guns. But it's an interesting question. It is, but like, what is the problem? The thing I want to do is I don't want to take guns away. I'm fine with it. I respect someone who says number 2, like, all right, amendment 2, like, okay, great. There's a lot of other amendments too I like, but I think we should be able to just address it.
Yeah, because
School shootings are a problem.
Yeah, I'm tired of seeing the school shootings because it's like we have enough stuff to worry about already, rather than worry about whether or not our kid gonna die going to school.
Yeah, but
that's not something I think any parent should have to be concerned with, and or community, because what happens with Uvalde? What happens if they shut the school down? So now you got to bus your kids somewhere else, and everybody's being inconvenienced, and then your tax dollars that was going towards it, now where is it going towards? Even if you don't have any kids, it should be a concern towards you as an individual.
Yeah, and I don't mind that like the Uvalde thing was what came to mind because all those officers that may or may not have done something wrong or getting all the tape mail, and it's because they didn't go in and just
they did something completely wrong.
And I'm sure they did.
I mean, yeah,
I wasn't there, and
yeah, looking at social media, and
I'm just thinking about like the Wyatt Earp, where like he's sitting next to the marshal. It's like, you can do something, you're the marshal. Not anymore. I'm out.
Yeah,
and like,
I mean, fear is a big proponent. I can't understand if you're scared.
And so like, that's a rough job. That's a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
It should not be a war zone. And so like, I know your officers of the law, like they're different officers of the law, no matter where you are, whether it be in New York City, Baltimore, to Uvalde, to St. Louis, and you have a different expectation of your daily job. I can see. I don't know what exactly transpired, but I can understand someone's reticence, even an officer of law, like having a problem going in there. And
I get fear.
Right.
This is why I disagree with you. I get fear, but you know the job that you sign up for. That's like me going into the military, and I specifically joined the Army, and I joined infantry, and I get on the front lines. And this happens too. And you start hearing the bullets whiz past your ear, and you just buckle.
Yeah.
Now, I can understand that, but still at the end of the day, though, you signed up for that job. And if you don't take responsibility to go and handle a situation where you clearly hear life being taken away, then yeah, you pretty much have lost your job. You shouldn't be in that field of work.
Yeah, I get that. I get the idea. I think there's a difference between applying to be an officer of law in Baltimore, New York, versus suburbia. Right, you have a different expectation of what your job's gonna be. You don't, I understand. Like you're probably going through the same courses. You're going through some training and everything else, but you're not going like if you.
You're talking about a level of danger.
There is like your expectation. We're like, all right, I'm gonna just do domestic abuse or everything else. You don't expect this. This is not part of your. This is not what you signed up for.
No,
I know you're saying they did. I don't know. And
but I think it's even worse though in suburban communities, because you can roll up on somebody dealing with a domestic. I mean, because it happened here. Yeah. It happened here in Cobb County.
Yeah.
The 2 officers rolled up because of a domestic dispute, and the dude shot both of the officers.
Well, yeah. There was I can't remember his name. There was a guy in Brunswick, Georgia, where I came from. God, what's his name? He was a cop for years and multiple shootings. And just like, all right, well, you don't expect that, but that's. I know we're supposed to be trained. Is this a solution? Again, it's more responsive.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. Like, is that again? We're getting off topic.
But that's not even it's not a solution to the overall problem in dealing with the school shooting. Yeah. I think, and I don't even know, like to that, I don't even know what the answer would be, because I get everybody. Well, on the left side, I will put it like this. That's why we got to have the whole high screaming pitch. We got to have gun reform. We got to make sure people don't have access to weapons. Well, I mean, if it's a weapon in the house, it's like you could have put strict gun laws in place to prevent his parents or his older brother or sister from getting the gun, and then they finally got qualified and they got the gun, and then he just walks over and snatches it out of the gun rack and then takes it to the school.
True. But it's one of those things too. Is like I don't want to go in the deep dive of like, or you have guns in the house. What is your responsibility to other people that have access to those guns? Right?
Yeah.
All right. If I have an AK-47, I live with myself. Fine, whatever. If I have an AK-47 in my house, and there are children that could be my kids or my kids' friends or whatever it is. And how many times I've heard that story?
Yeah.
Their 5-year-old or their 8, 10, 15-year-old, hey, let me show you my dad's gun, and someone dies.
Yeah.
what is the responsibility there? You know, and
I don't think it should
it's
be
a dicey road, but I just
Yeah, I don't think it should, because I don't have a gun safe, but my guns are locked up in a case
Right.
and it's buried in my closet to where I have access to a weapon if something was to happen in my house. But my big weapons, no, it would be a hassle for me to go in there and dig them out, and then not which I got to go to the range, but still, it would be a hassle for anybody to come in my house, even a kid, to come in and say, "Oh, I see a case over." They wouldn't even know what the hell the case is for.
yeah, it's. And I understand, like, even Bill Burr had a great bit about getting a gun and like arguing with his wife, like, all right, we got to put the gun over here and the bullets over there, and like, all right, so you're here for home safety, and then someone comes into your room and you're like, you're running around,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's the point there? Like, so
Yeah.
I get that too. And I'm not saying everyone has to have like the James Bond layer where you press a button and things come up and it's all secure.
No, so when it comes to
But I think there is like a line of responsibility. I do. I think just owning a gun, like,
Yeah.
I think you should be responsible to a certain degree. I'm not saying to the nth degree, but you know, it feels weird where if I buy a keg and someone gets drunk on that keg of beer, and then they do something stupid, that I'm liable for it. Right?
But gun owners are liable for people that have
Sorta.
well, because like say you have a weapon and you have a registered weapon, and somebody steals your gun out of your car, out of your home, or whatever. Then by law you're required to call the police to report that weapon along with the serial number stolen. Because if you don't, and something happens, then that's coming back on you.
Kind of, but like the database is not like Law and Order people think it of.
Oh no! I mean, here we're just talking about the freaking database for voting.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's
no,
even worse for guns.
Yeah.
It's against the law for that stuff to be computerized.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there is one place. It's in West Virginia. And It's
Uh-huh.
all paper. So like the idea of like let's run down this number that we see on TV.
Yeah.
That does not happen.
No,
It does
yeah,
not
that's
exist.
fictional, yeah.
There's one place. It's understaffed. There's only a few people working in it that has the database for everybody in America that has guns and serial numbers attached to it. And like I said, it's against the law for it to be computerized.
Okay.
Like it's against the law. So like they've got a room just full of stacked boxes, like they're moving out, and that's where all this information is. So like even what you're talking about, like that just doesn't happen. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it's
That's what I'm saying, I don't-
number, like,
When it comes to, because since we're talking about school shooting, when it comes to school shooting, I mean, I get the uproar behind it, but that's one of those things. Is like, I don't know that it's anything policy can fix. I mean, outside of taking guns out of society in general, and like we just said, we both know that'll never happen.
Well, there's a couple of tools. Like legally, there's something called the Lautenberg Amendment.
Okay.
Okay. And it's a federal thing. It is law.
Uh-huh.
It's a whether they want to enforce it or not. It's a choice.
What is it?
And what it is it's fairly simple. I'm boil it down to this: it's if you are abuser, if you're convicted of domestic violence in any form, you are not allowed to have a gun. And
Okay.
so police can show up on knock, give me your guns, and you by law have to surrender them.
Okay.
Now, I was talking to someone in New Orleans, and they said that just by they chose to enforce this. Who's to say? But like basically overnight, gun violence, all gun violence went down 25%. That is significant.
Because they was worried about.
All they did one thing. They knocked on doors. Said, hey, they actually said, oh, let's look at this list of domestic abusers. Let's knock on their doors and get their guns. Yeah. And it brought crime down.
But how could you, even with a policy or a bill like that, and let's say you are enforcing it, but how would that apply towards kids in school shootings?
Again,
that's what I was like. It's a hard
big
one.
Problem.
Yeah.
But this is a simple one where all gun violence went down just enforcing. But this is also zero. Again, it's a cheap thing to do. Like, all right, just knock on, get their guns and get the very specific people that shouldn't have to. That I hope we'd all agree.
I agree with
like,
that.
These guys don't need guns.
No, they don't need them.
Like, let's get these guys. All right.
Yeah.
And it brings all the gun crime down. Great. School shootings. Again, the other one I would say is we can change the law where let's make it legal that we can study this. Like,
I agree.
Like it's illegal for the CDC just to study gun violence. They're
I didn't
not
know
allowed
they
by law.
No, I didn't know that either.
I
need to look that up. I didn't know that either.
They're not allowed to do it. They're just like, what is the CDC, the Center for Disease Control? Like they handle a lot of things. And I thought it was out of their purview, but apparently it is in their bailiwick. They've applied to study it, but they are not allowed to study gun violence. Can we just study it?
Yeah, that's that's
how,
weird.
Yeah.
Like, who lobbies for that?
I mean, like right now, like it's not too hard to figure that out.
Yeah, no, I'm just but
cold dead hands, man. Let's.
Yeah, like why? Who lobbies for? Yeah, we don't want you doing any studies.
Yeah, like that. Like so, let's. What you were saying is, I don't know the answer, but and I'm not smart enough to give the answer. I gave one example, which I think would be helpful.
But again, I don't think
let's at least study it.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, that goes back to my original thing. What changed from the mid '90s? Because we had gun violence, but it was on the streets. Mm-hmm. What changed in the mid '90s all the way up into the days where gun violence went from the street to now inside the classroom? Because hell, the one today in St. Louis, the kid wrote his manifesto that he didn't have any friends, he had a terrible social life, he didn't have any family at home. So I'm like, okay, well, shit. Well, see, I almost cursed. Why? It's like, well, okay, see, you have a problem. We all went through that. I was bullied in school.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but does it mean you come back and shoot the school up because you couldn't make any friends?
Where does like from age 0 to 18, or this kid was 19, 0 to 19, what happened to make this decision? And we can ask this question to a lot of folks.
Yeah.
So let's find out let's find out the answers to these questions. I don't know the answer to these questions. I'm not a smart guy.
You're a very smart guy.
I did stay at Holiday Inn Express last night.
Yeah. Well, it makes you even smarter.
Yeah. But we should study it. We need. What's the answer to that question? I don't know, but let's find out.
Yeah.
That's like
because I think
I've got pushback on guns a little bit, but it's not as much as people think it is. Let's just find out.
Yeah, I'm a black and white person. I'm a data whore, and I love any data that can come out of that. And like I said, I'm curious to know, like, what will make you even think to go in. Because I mean, of course, everybody gonna say, "Oh, well, it's video games now."
No, that's absolutely not true.
It's horror movies, or it's being desensitized because of like music.
That's again, all these things I've looked into. I've actually looked into that stuff because I'm a gamer, and I know you are too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm already looking into that. There's absolutely zero correlation with gun violence and video games or music. Mm-hmm. And if anyone wants to like do something really cool, look at Dee Snider and who's a Rocky Mountain High guy, John Denver. And they as in the early '90s when Tipper Gore, they tried to censor all music, and Dee Snider shows up at looking like Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, sans makeup, and he just does a verbal takedown. It's amazing to see a bunch of senators bow down to Dee Snider. But it has, again, there's no correlation to that. Mm-hmm. I do remember reading a study, now that I think about it does have to do with just your domestic situation.
Yeah, I can see that.
The house you grew up.
Right.
Your 4 walls and a roof, and a lot of it is dealt with that. So it starts at home. I don't think it's a silver bullet, but it's a start. Yeah,
but even in all those things, like I'm trying to understand, because I'm going to say it's a mental health thing. It has to be a mental health thing. Because it's like, what's sparking that now? Because I mean, people, like I just said, I was bullied, and my brother was involved with. I'm not trying to throw my brother under the bus, but unsavory people.
Sure.
So you would believe, okay, and I'm a middle child, so my sister was super popular because she did cheerleading and a whole bunch of other stuff too, and she used to sing and be in pageants. She did everything. So I'm the middle kid.
She's the one that's good looking. Right?
She is. Yes, absolutely, she is. She is.
Sorry, man.
I mean, I'll take it. So you have my older brother, who he did play some sports early on, who was involved with some savory people, but he was still smart. And then my sister was popular, but I got bullied. So you would think that if anybody, I would still be protected. No, they beat the hell out of me. But I didn't think, man, I'm about to go back to my house or go to one of the unsavory people that I know and get their weapons and come back and blast this school up. If anything, I would go after the person that was bullying me. But that still was never even the option. And I played video games. I used to listen to NWA. I know my parents want me to. But I still listen to NWA. I listen to Ice Cube. I listen to Eazy-E. I mean, I listen to all those people, Bone Thugs and Harmony when they first came. I mean, I listen to all those people, but I even played the first Grand Theft Auto when it first came in. It was illegal to own that game. You had to download it online on the computer. I played that and beat the hell out of it. But
I
never,
just played it again.
never any of those things that I think, oh my God, you know what? They keep pissing me off. I'm about to come in here and just shoot this school up.
You're right. I've never come close to that either. But also, I mean, I love my, I love my mom and dad.
Yeah.
I love my sisters. So I had a decent, very decent household. I'm not gonna say it's the best, I'm gonna say it's worse, but it's very decent. You know. So I can't. So I think maybe that's where it started for me. So I had this horrible scholastic career from kindergarten through 12th grade, same town. I didn't get along with much folks until I went to college, and that's one of the reasons why I went to actually University of Georgia. I'm out of here. I hate this place. So I can empathize for anyone getting bullied or anyone being singled out or for any shape, form, or fashion. I can definitely do that. And to your point, I never came close to like thinking about doing anything else. But I don't know the answer to that question. I think there's a lot of you look in behind those closed doors, see what's going on in these home lives. I think there has been a change in the past 20 years of what home life is like for all kids, not just us, right? I figure we're probably we definitely grew up in different households, but like I think our differences of where we grew up, me versus you, is not as different as it is between me and the same kids in my community 20 years later. Right? So let's analyze what's going on at home. What's different. I think it's total Wikipedia, YouTube, not scientific at all, my own like idiot theory.
Okay.
Let's start there. Let's find out what's different about the way kids are growing up now versus the way the kids grew up when we were growing up.
They took church out of school.
What's up?
They took church out of school.
Hey, man.
You know what's easy? Oh, they took the God out of school. We don't pray every morning.
All right, Jerry Falwell. You're talking to a guy that like hasn't been to church and
I mean, did we pray? I mean, I did go to a private school early on until we came up here to Atlanta. No, we didn't. We did Pledge of Allegiance, but we didn't pray in school.
Well, I was thinking Jersey too. I mean, I had Muslims and Jewish, and Christians, and Greek Orthodox too. I mean, everyone was represented. Church and school was so.
Yeah, I hate hearing that
because it just singles people out. I hate that stuff. I really I know if you want to go to church, but the reason why you don't bring church in schools is because it's just one more way for a kid to get bullied.
Yeah, and because even with, and I hate they piss me off with that crap. Oh, we got to get the church back in school, but I'm like, okay, well, what if I don't practice it? We talked about this before.
Yeah.
What if I don't practice the same religion that you practice? So now I feel like I'm being bullied because now you're forcing me to do something that I don't necessarily do at home because that's not the religion I practice. Yeah. So now I'm being looked down upon and I'm feeling shame. So now it's messing with my self-esteem coming into school now.
It's absolutely. I have a friend of mine that's going through that right now. His two kids, because he's agnostic, and just all right, his kids just got caught. It was 9 and 11, I believe, and so the kids are like, all right, you want to do something on Sunday? Okay, when you want to meet up? I meet up at 11 or 10 o'clock. We go to church. Don't you go to church? Oh no, we don't go to church. I'll meet you afterwards. You don't go to church, and then it was on. All of a sudden, he has no friends. It was a light switch. And when I say no friends, actually, it was about half and half. Mm-hmm. Half his friends now are trying to ostracize him and trying to bully him, like, go to church, you evil person, you evil 9-year-old. And kids are cruel, I get it, but this is just, again, a reason why this is the.
I think y'all need to start raising y'all kids, because I'm glad my kids are older now. Because if my kids went through something what these kids are going through now, the night would be beating the hell out of a lot of kids. Especially during Halloween, because I would address the parents and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna tell you now, you need to get your kid, because if you don't get your kid, you might not have a kid much longer.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's not the best way. Again, who knows? We know.
Yeah.
We know more. We know less. I don't know. That's one of those things that it's the get off my lawn. Kids these days.
Yeah.
I read it. I'm always.
Because my oldest son got bullied by somebody, and I really. I should. You know what? I think his mom talked me out of that, because I wanted to go to her house and talk to her parents. And he got bullied by a girl, and she was a big girl too.
And I don't know. Again, I don't know if I just always think I've heard that phrase, and I reject it out of hand now. Mm-hmm. it's where like the kids aren't like when it was when I was your age, blah blah blah.
No.
And that has been said every single generation for 100,000 years.
No.
My dad said it.
Yeah.
His dad said it. His dad said it.
His
dad said it. All the way back.
I agree to that to a certain degree, though. They aren't raised the way that we grew up, but I don't think a lot of that is their own fault or the parents' fault. It's just society, because I think society now is more dangerous than what it was when we were 10-year-old girl. She had an attempt for kidnapping, third time. The guy was following her to school, and then he was asking her the same. I'm like, why do y'all have the same bio? Like, ask her if she wants some candy, and she was like, no, I don't want any candy. And the second time around, hey, you want to go hang out at this playground and stuff? And I was like, what? I'm like, I can just read, this thing verbatim.
Oh, where's this at?
Like, this really happened.
So where is it? I think this is live. Where is this at? Is it online or?
This happened in like real life.
So okay.
So it's like IRL, like it's in real life, out on the streets.
Okay.
And then the third time, the guy actually tried to snatch her up, but she was able to jerk her arm away and run back into the school and then call for help. And they actually got him on camera trying to do that. Mm-hmm. So I think, and not to say we didn't have kidnappings when I was growing up, but I think now.
I disagree with that. I just think we didn't know about it.
No, I think we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing we did.
Yeah.
I just don't think it was as prevalent as it is today. I think today we have a lot more, trafficking taking place than what it was early on. Not saying it didn't happen. I think it did happen.
Yeah.
Because, we did have kids that got kidnapped. But nowadays, it's like you can't send your kids out to do anything alone. So now you don't have your kids getting outside to be free to themselves because they're trapped inside, and or your parents got to watch them all the time. And then you have, I have to use discipline. I do have to use discipline to a degree. Parents aren't as strict on their kids as like it were when I was growing up. Now, I would never say that they should never get the treatment I got growing up.
My dad was.
I turned out okay. I turned out okay. But I still address. I even because I'm trying to my hardest. Because I do believe
everyone our age right now is laughing at the same thing at our incapability.
I do believe in spank. I'll say that I do believe in spankings and whips. I don't think timeout works. I don't care what anybody says. You can do all kind of studies you want. I think spankings do work and then it's not going to cause any mental health problems. And I know it's going to say, well, if you abuse your kid, then that will cause issues on them. I'm like, but the same thing can be said about if you don't take any disciplinary action, because society will discipline them. So, and this is a totally different conversation.
Yeah.
But I think now it is a little different nowadays than what it was when we were growing up. And I agree, every generation can say that. Because society changes per generation.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. It really does. I understand like kidnapping. Keeping kids safe. Obviously no one's pro kidnapping and all that. I question how much worse it is now than it was before. I do.
I think it's really worse.
I think we hear about it, but you hear about it I'm never even close to I
don't think we hear about it.
I don't think we heard about it before. I think we hear about it way more now.
I don't even think we hear about it enough.
Yeah. Because
it's worse here in Atlanta. Like Atlanta's number 3 or 4 when it comes to human trafficking.
And there's definitely human trafficking, definitely against it. We have to approach it, figure out what the problem is. There is a level of internet where, again, the internet. One of the worst things about the internet is you have these people that have horrific ideas that never got reinforcement. Now there's a community. Mm-hmm. And if you want to have your fun with goats, you're the only guy in the room. But now you can find online. There's
it's a club.
Yeah, there's a club out there for you.
You're fun with goats. You're fun with goats.
But also I question it because I think of where I just left St. Simon's Island, Georgia, which is a beautiful, pretty picturesque utopia. Small town, great place. You can go anywhere you want, and everyone knows each other. It's a little bit of a throwback, and I remember talking to to parents, and they would never let their kids out. I'm like, why? Get a bunch of kids, ride the bikes across the street, and one of them, oh no, can't do that. I'm like, I get what you're saying as far as you gotta, but You got to protect them from these predators. That I'll even grant the premise that maybe there's more of them out there than before, but maybe we should just educate them. I remember having stranger danger when I was a kid, right? When I was being trained in first grade, like in second grade, kindergarten. I remember, like, the more you know, that you guys know. Like, and I hesitate to think that I don't think that that's being taught. That we're not teaching these 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds enough about this, how to handle themselves in those situations.
I can see that.
And we're protecting them so much that we're never even letting them be in that situation in the first place.
Yeah.
Take that even further down the line. Now they're incapable of being by themselves when they're adults. And I think there's a kind of a string of problems. I think that's all.
I mean,
and I have no kids, so yeah. By the way,
yeah.
So obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about.
I can agree with that. I can disagree with that.
Oh yeah.
Because I can still let my kid have some freedom, but I got to be outside too.
Yeah. Oh, what age? Like, I remember, like, again, maybe I was showing our age. Mm-hmm. I was not allowed a ride to school once first grade hit. I had to walk by myself.
At first grade?
First grade. In Jersey. My dad was a little older, so he was born in 42, so he was like a little, so he's like, I'm a 1.5 generation.
No, I couldn't.
And so my dad, like, he would literally laugh at me. Like, if it snowed in Jersey, and so he wouldn't have work, I would have school, because we were running out of school days, and he would laugh at me. He's like, good luck. Start going, and like full on, pebble play, but literally he'd be outside with a hot cocoa, like, you're going to be late for school if you don't start walking. Like, can I get a ride, Dad, please? No.
Yeah, nah.
And my school was about a mile away, so it wasn't that far away.
Yeah, but even still, my parents...
But yeah, we all, like, everyone walked to school.
And I'm in the South, and they always talked about that. Oh, I had to walk this far to get to school. But even when I was younger, they dropped us off. Yeah, they wouldn't let us do. And now, granted, we had freedom. Like, I mean, me and my brother, but it was me and my brother all the time. We were like in the woods. Like we were going in the woods.
The Calvin Hobbes.
Yeah. Anything could have happened to us in the woods. We were going in the woods. But now, I couldn't. Even my boys. Now, I give a prime example. My youngest son is 19 now. He's 18. He was visiting his mom. He was up in Michigan last summer. They have this long trail that if you stay on this trail, almost like the Beltline, it will take you to a totally different town, or what they call it, a town, whatever town is, whatever they call up there. It'll take you to a totally different town in there. So he was riding, like he was riding, and it's in the cut. Now his mom tried calling him, and I have a strict rule on this. If your mom, his mom is not together, she up there. So I'm like, if your mom calls me because she can't reach you, I'm gonna punch you in your face. Because why is she calling me because she can't reach you? I don't care how old you are. If your mom is calling me and she's blowing your phone up and you're not answering the phone, now I have to go become a detective and hunt you down on the app to find you. We got a problem. So this happened. I see him going down this trail, and I started buzzing ringing his phone. Well, on the iPhone, you can like buzz the actual phone to make it ring, like it's a piercing sound.
Right.
So I finally started doing it.
You can force it, right?
Yeah, you can force it. Yeah. So I did it to him, and he turned around and he called back, and I just kind of went off. And I'm like, and I said my point is with it, even at his age of 18, I don't want him going somewhere down through the woods by himself. Had it been him and his brother, I would have been fine. But it was him by himself. Even now, I'm like, At 18, I'm like, no.
Well, I mean, like, especially, never mind if it's his daughter. I mean, but like, sorry, there's a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference. Yeah.
But I guess the also difference was like when I'm walking to school, I'm not the only one walking.
Yeah, it's other kids out there.
All the kids, everyone's walking. And like kind of tell your point. I remember my dad kicking me out of the house. Go away.
Yeah, I had to stay outside.
Get out.
Yeah.
Leave. Bike. Hey, Times Square is 7 miles away. You can make it.
Yeah.
We were from Jersey.
We stayed outside, but now I will agree. Most parents nowadays are very overprotective.
Yeah, and just I guess all the kids were together. So when you have 5 kids, you're stealing the one strength, the one by yourself, which I totally respect that. Even back in my day. Now that I think about it, like everyone was out. I was never alone. The only time I was alone was going across the street to my buddy's house or wherever. That was the only time going to the friend's house, and it just didn't. I just don't remember. There was never a danger. But also, when I was kicked out, he's like, basically my dad threw me out. Go away. Come back at 6. That was hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, so like that. And I didn't respect it till I became an adult, understanding what you're just saying. If I'm not home at 6, the reason why I had to be home at 6, so I knew where the hell I was.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Yeah. Because, I mean, don't let the streetlights catch you.
Yeah.
I need to know where you are. I need to know what you say. Stay outside, have fun, get some vitamin D, and some fresh air. If you need some water, it's a hose outside.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want to see you until before I need to see you before the sun go down.
And hose water tastes better.
Yeah, it really is. So, yeah, as we wind down, I mean, it was a random conversation. So we talked about.
Okay. It's again. So the thing about these conversations, that I think is to make a point to be stressful, is that it's open. It's about thinking.
Yeah.
And it's like we talk about guns. We talk about school shootings. We talk about child
mental
safety,
health. Yeah.
Mental health, child safety. And the thing is, there's a lot of different points of view. It's like, all right, we all have to think about it and figure what's best.
Right. You can't have any hard lines in. Like if you have a hard line, if you hard line at everything, then you're not open to learn something new.
Right.
Or even somebody even change your opinion because you could just be wrong on what you're thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. My 3 favorite words are I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to say that, because then you'll learn more. You get more information, you'll make better decisions. And that's never mind about guns, but about your checking account and credit cards.
Yeah, it's everything.
because your teacher forgets, but your banker never forgets.
Right. Right. So, final thought, John?
No, it's good. Like kind of what I was just saying, man. Just always be thinking. It's fun to have these conversations. Be wide open. I think all these things are more than 10 words. So whether it be just don't be my cold dead hands or taking my guns away. Think about what just think about it. But from all facets, and get out and vote. We got a couple weeks of early vote because in Georgia.
Is it next week? It's November 4th, right?
So this
November
week and then
4th.
next week is early voting, and then because if you wait for day of, it could get
It's a lot.
sketchy, especially if you're in, we'll call it a vulnerable precinct, economically vulnerable, not politically.
My part of town, my old part of town, grew up in DeKalb County. Well, South DeKalb County, not North DeKalb. They're privileged in North DeKalb.
For some reason, there's less voting machines there,
Yeah.
and less resources, no
Yeah.
matter what. It's amazing.
Always.
And
And the elected officials are Democrats.
Oh wow! Oh my God! Really? So just so if you're in those things, just be aware of that.
Yeah, I enjoy calling my own people out. It's the truth, though. I mean, if I can't call out my own family, then who the hell should I be able to call out? So, thank y'all for tuning in. Yeah, my thing is always be open to new ideas and don't close yourself. I'm still closed in about. No. John changed me a little bit about having guns. Certain people should not have access to guns. I mean, I always said that. But certain people should not have access to guns. But if you're a sane individual, I think you should have access to a gun. But you should. Everybody, I will agree, should be trained on how to properly use not just gun, all weapons.
Yeah.
Because I own tons of weapons in my house, and I think you should be trained on how to use any form of them. Because I mean, you could cut yourself
Yeah.
playing games. And final thought. One thing I want to say is go after your dreams. I'm gonna put it like that because when it's early voting season, and I'm using early voting as a reason to go after what you're passionate about, go after what you're looking for, and then when you're trying to do that, make sure you vote in that process because you have policies that will prevent you from doing some of the things that you want to do because the laws will hinder you from making any money off of a dream that you want to have. I don't care if it's getting involved with healthcare. I don't care if it's getting involved with small business because you can tax the hell out of your small businesses, or policies that's preventing you from operating within a certain community because they don't like the way you look or they don't like your skin tone. So get involved, stay involved, get out in the streets. If you can protest a little bit, but make sure you show up to vote and make sure you tell all your friends and family to show up to vote because if you want your voice to be heard, being online ain't helping, being a keyboard warrior ain't helping, and venting to your friends and family and helping. The way you can show your voice and have your voice being heard is actually showing up to the polls and getting all those people that you're talking to, venting about, to show up to the polls with you. Because these keyboard warriors and talking trash about what elections not going to do because it hadn't helping you out, well, you griping and BSing about it ain't helping you out either. So if you want some effective change, the only effective change you can do is get out, go to the polls, and vote for somebody out there. And if they aren't doing their job, come the next election cycle, get their asses out. And yeah, I'm going to say just like that. So thank y'all for tuning in and keeping it real politically. Y'all tune back in next Tuesday at 6 p.m. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but we will be here because, when is election day?
It's 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday, and then y'all stay tuned. I am still streaming every night on Twitch. So y'all can come in if y'all want to watch me play some video games, have a good time with it. So I'm on twitch.tv/Escaping the Matrix without an E. And if you are in need of content creation, yeah, we don't even have to worry about the time no more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know it's 7 o'clock. But if you are in need of, normally we're off by now, but we don't have anybody coming in behind us, so we just keep on. I'm gonna keep on going through my little rant. But if you are in need of content creation, you have a vision that you want to get pushed out to the public, consider my business, which is Engineering Tomorrow. Something I had in the works for a long time, and the purpose behind the name is I think we should all be able and be willing to re-engineer tomorrow and see our visions come into fruition. And my business there do just that. I provide videography work for you. I do photography. I also do like audio editing, audio recording. I do drone footage and then video walkthrough for real estate agents and for commercial brokers. So any of those things you need, I can do it for you, and I'm getting certified to become a licensed drone person.
There you go. That's fun stuff. We talked about that before. It's interesting work, and there's a lot more to it than video games than people think. If you're not familiar with it, you get licensed. It's a little more of a process, and more responsible than you realize.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Yeah, that's go. Look up Antonio. He's got some good stuff. Very talented. He set up everything. We look like we're in a real studio, and we are.
We are in a real studio.
But we definitely are. But he's the one that actually set up all the sound and the images. So if you're listening to us and you're watching on YouTube, he set up all the cameras and all the stuff and doing all the directions. So he's got some skills. And I'll just say, don't forget to be awesome and happy Halloween.
Yeah. Happy Halloween. Yeah, happy Halloween. Yes, and be careful about the candy you're getting from those strangers. Yeah, because that's still a thing now. So love y'all. See y'all next Tuesday. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace out, YouTube. Whoever the watcher is.